So I think the first thing that we have to do to really start this conversation around virtual spaces and their purpose, we have to recognize how we got here, and we have to take into account what the rest of digital and social media looks like right now and what it's looked like for the last 20 years, right? And we won't even try to go super far into that. First, we had cable conglomerates and things like that, few media companies. Then we had social media and all this fun stuff. And in the last 5 or so years, we've come to learn over and over and over again, in countless scandals and issues like this, with proven information and data that shows that a lot of social media platforms are not designed to serve us, and their whole profit structure is based around exploiting you as the user and creating your input, your data, your creativity at their disposal to repackage, resell, and do what they want with. And so we won't even jump into the whole conversation on NFTs either. We're going to just jump straight into what this is about. If we know that these algorithms are designed to target us, to manipulate us, to make us feel a certain way, so that we buy something or act a certain way or vote a certain way, if we know that there are things like GPT-3 in the world that are just language processors designed to read what we put out and then say things back to us to make us feel a certain way, or to get into the bait of a social media argument in a comment section, if we know that a lot of these platforms don't care about us as users, rather target us as prey, we have to figure out what we can do to combat that. And even when we think about things like Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces and things, we're still just taking turns talking at each other. We're not talking with each other. And the only thing that we can really do is re-inject the human element into that. And how do we do this? We provide a controlled, safe space designed and conducive to the purposes we want, whether that be a support group or a merchandise center or an art gallery or a chess club or a book club. I don't care. And we don't even have to go into whether or not it's a commercial use or philanthropic. It doesn't, none of that. We won't even go that far today, right? What we have to look at is that this is the tool, the building block to hop across any national border, to go any distance in the world and beyond the planet, really, if we wanted to get super crazy when we think about it, and talk to each other, to get past articles, to get past division, to get past generalization and marginalization, and looking at others as a mass of people and instead recognizing each other as individuals. And it might sound dumb to think that these are the kind of things that we get reintegrated with in a virtual space, but it's quite true. And I would suggest that these spaces are not a replacement of reality. They are not an escape of reality, but they are a parallel expansion of it. And the interactions and the behaviors that you have here and you show and display here will directly affect who you meet and implicate real life response and reaction in your physical world too. This is not a game. We don't have to do play to earn. We don't have to make it about, I don't know, any other amount of mindless activity, when the real thing that needs to happen is we need to start putting our minds and our voices together. And if we think about hip-hop and what happened there at its birth and its real kind of golden era, you had a lot of people with very few resources and all of the creativity in the world. And what did they do with that? They used that to amplify and lift up the voices of each other and be heard on a global scale. That got ripped away by the same media conglomerate idea, the same, not even a conspiracy theory, just pushing corporate pop music and everything else to create archetypes and all that. All that got ripped away. We're trying to rebuild it now. Beyond hip-hop, beyond music, we've got all this division. We've got political division, we've got racial division, we've got identity issues, we've got all these things, we've got human rights issues across all kinds of things going on. The most important thing we can do is come together and talk, organize, plan, and act as a group. We can compete all day long. We can try to succeed in an algorithm and follow trends and behave in obscene ways that we think other people are going to view, or we can start being ourselves. We can start treating each other like regular people. We can start listening. We can explore and think about what's really going on at a global scale when we can come together as a global community on a global platform.